All right, let's set the scene. Imagine a huge battlefield, the air just crackling with tension. Two massive armies are on the verge of a war that's going to decide the fate of an entire kingdom. But right before the chaos begins, there's this incredible moment of stillness and a simple yet really powerful request. So let's dive into what that is and why it matters so much.
So picture this. We're on the sacred field of Kurukshetra. You've got the Pandavas on one side fighting for what's right, and on the other, the Kauravas, led by the power-hungry Duryodhana. I mean, the stakes are just immense. And yet, in this one moment, all that noise, all that fury, just goes silent. And everything zeroes in on this one chariot, parked right between the two armies.
Now, inside that chariot sits the legendary archer Arjuna, and his charioteer is none other than Lord Krishna himself. And Arjuna has something to ask. He needs clarity before this terrible war kicks off. So you gotta wonder, what is this crucial request? What does a warrior need to see when he's staring his enemy in the face?
Okay, so this is where we really get into Arjuna's head. And let's be clear, he is not wavering here, not at all. His gaze is firm, his mind is set. His request is a military one, and it's all about understanding the massive challenge that's right in front of him.
All right, so let's get right to the source. This is Shloka 1, verse 22. Let me read it for you. Yotsyamanam aveksheham ya ete etrasamagata dhatarashtrasya durbuddhir yude priya chikirshava.
And what does that mean? Well, it's pretty straightforward and incredibly powerful. Arjuna is asking Krishna to position the chariot so he can get a good, clear look at the opposition. He's making it very clear. He wants to see the faces of those who have gathered to fight for the evil-minded Duryodhana.
Okay, but here's the really fascinating part. Why is he asking this? This is no last-minute plea for peace, not even close. Arjuna wants to see his opponents, to really look at the people who have knowingly chosen to back an unjust cause. It's a strategic move, an assessment of the enemy's strength, and he's doing it with total confidence. So where does all this confidence come from? Simple. He knows Lord Krishna is right there with him. So, Arjuna gives this order, right? Now, how does his divine guide Krishna respond? Well, he acts right away, and how he acts is just so important.
And we see that response in Shloka 1, verse 24, which Sanjay is narrating. Here it is. Sanjaya uvacha, evam ukto Hrishikesho, gudakeshina bharata, senayor ubayor madhye stapayitwar ritotamam.
So what we're seeing here is Krishna, without even saying a word, doing exactly what Arjuna asked. He pulls that magnificent chariot right up into the no-man's land between the armies. Now, think about that. This isn't just following orders. It's a show of perfect intuitive understanding. He's giving Arjuna the best possible view. And this, right here, is where things get really deep. This is the heart of it. See, the verse uses very specific names for both Arjuna and Krishna. And trust me, these names are chosen for a reason. They tell us everything we need to know about the relationship and why this moment is so profound.
So first up, let's talk about Arjuna. He's called Gadakasha. Such a beautiful name, right? And it literally means one who has conquered sleep. But you know, it's so much more than that. We're talking about conquering the sleep of ignorance. And how did he do it? Through his deep, unwavering friendship and devotion to Krishna.
Okay, so then you have Krishna, who is called Hrishikesha. What does that mean? It means he's the master of the senses. He is the one directing the minds and senses of literally every living being. So of course he knew exactly what was in Arjuna's heart. He understood the real unspoken purpose behind the request.
And when you put those two together, it's just perfect. It paints such a clear picture of this incredible dynamic. On one side you have Gudakesha, the devotee who has overcome ignorance and asks with total clarity. And on the other, you have Hrishikesha, the divine guide who knows his devotee's heart. There is absolutely zero room for misunderstanding here. It's perfect sync.
So that begs the question, right? How does a person get to be a Gudakesha like Arjuna? Well, the path is through what's called Krishna consciousness. It's about being in a state of constant connection, constantly thinking of the divine, never forgetting for even a moment whether you're awake or you're asleep. This is how you conquer not just sleep, but that much bigger problem of spiritual ignorance. It's a state of total awareness, also known as samadhi.
All right, let's zoom out and put this all together. Why are we focusing on this one little moment, just parking a chariot before this gigantic war? Because what we learn from this one small act is just, it's huge, and it's something we can all learn from today. See, this whole thing, it's not really about where to park a chariot. It's about where to park your mind. It's about the absolute necessity of facing a huge challenge with your eyes wide open, free from the fog of fear or doubt or ignorance. It's about looking a huge challenge right in the eye and seeing it for what it is, with total clarity and purpose.
And that really brings it home for us, doesn't it? Think about the battles we face every day, maybe at work, in our families, or even just inside our own heads. The real question is, how can we, like Arjuna, take that pause to position our own chariot? How do we make sure that before we jump into the fight, we're seeing everything, and I mean everything, our challenges, our opponents, and especially ourselves, with that same kind of courageous, unshakable clarity?